I've been investing for 24 years. I've made plenty of personal finance and investing mistakes, but what I can tell you with real experience is this. If you have a plan and you follow it consistently, you can retire in just 20 years. And if you don't invest into assets, you will end up relying on the state pension. In other words, you'll have serious financial pain. Today, I'm talking about a simple plan that you can start now, today. Stick with me and you'll know exactly how much to invest, where to invest it, and how to make your money generate monthly income for life. Chapter 1, what is the 4% rule and why it works? The 4% rule is what many people use in retirement here in the UK. It comes from a massive study called the Trinity Study, which looked at over 50 years of market data. The findings: if you withdraw 4% from a well-diversified investment portfolio each year, your money will likely last 30 years or more, even through market downturns. Now here's what that looks like in real life. You want to live on 20,000 a year in retirement, you need a portfolio worth £500,000. Want 80,000 a year, you'll need £2 million. But how are you supposed to work it out? Simple maths, you just take the income you want, divide it by 0.04, and that's your target number. This isn't theory, this is maths, backed by decades of market performance. What about you? How much would you want to live on each year in retirement? Chapter 2, how to hit that number in 20 years. Let's break it down into something you can act on now, today. Let's say you're starting at zero. You invest monthly, you're aiming for 10% annual returns, a conservative number based on global index fund averages, historical returns. To build a £500,000 pot in 20 years, you need to invest about £650 a month. Want 1 million? That's just over £1,300 a month. If that sounds like a lot, think about it this way. You've probably been working for years already, paying rent or a mortgage and getting taxed heavily. But how much have you paid yourself? When you understand how powerful investing actually is, you'll be willing to skip the holidays, take that extra shift, sell that second car, because it buys you freedom. Want help finding your exact monthly number? Comment yes below and you can join my free investing community where I can answer all of your investing questions. Chapter 3, let dividends pay your bills. What if your investments could pay you monthly without selling anything? That's the magic of dividend investing. Dividends are regular cash payments that companies make to shareholders. Some pay quarterly, some even pay monthly. And if you invest in dividend-focused stocks or ETFs, your portfolio could 100% pay 100% of your living expenses. Imagine this: you wake up, you check your bank account. A company just paid you £300 in dividends just for holding their shares. You don't need to work, you don't need to sell stocks, your money works for you. But here's what I would personally do initially when you start investing. Reinvest your dividends early on. Compound growth plus income equals retirement. But as always, this video doesn't contain any financial advice, and the full disclaimer can be found below in the description. Chapter 4, how much you need to live off your investments. Let's put numbers into it. Say you want £3,000 a month in dividend income, that's £36,000 a year. At a 4% yield, you'd need a £900,000 portfolio. Want £2,000 a month, you need around £600,000. Totally achievable in 20 years if you're consistent and smart with your strategy. You could live off your investments with dividends or by using the 4% rule, what I've basically just been talking about. And if you want to know more about one of the most popular strategies people use for retirement here in the UK, the 4% rule, see below for a recent video. Which would you prefer, living off dividend income or withdrawn 4% per year? Let me know in the comments. Chapter 5, how to invest tax-free in the UK. This is the part most people overlook, but it makes a huge difference. Here in the UK, there are tax-free wrappers we can all use. The first one is a stocks and shares ISA. You can invest up to £20,000 a year, 100% tax-free. There are no capital gains tax, no dividends tax, no income tax. And if you can do this consistently, you could have a £500,000 plus portfolio in 20 years. Then you've got the SIP, self-invested personal pension. Invest pre-tax income. Get 20 to 45% tax relief from the government, ideal for long-term growth. But you can't access it until you're 55 to 57. More savvy investors split their money between ISAs and SIPs. Personally, I prefer the ISA because of the flexibility and how you can access your money at any time. What would you go for and why? An ISA or a SIP? Tax is a big issue for me, to be honest. I think that many of us get taxed far too much here in the UK. So for me, you want to learn how to be tax efficient. I'll leave another video below that goes into this in much more detail. Chapter 6, what to invest in. No stock picking needed. You don't need to be Warren Buffett. You don't need to pick stocks, you just need the right tools. Here are 3 index funds that work for UK investors. The Vanguard FTSE All World ETF, Global Diversification, Vanguard UK Equity Income, great for dividends, iShares UK Dividend ETF, High Yield UK Companies, low cost, reliable, proven. This is what I recommend to my own family if I was a financial advisor, but obviously I'm not. And if you want some more options, see below for 5 more index funds from Vanguard. I would say that Vanguard are my go-to when it comes to index funds. I find the website easy to use, the costs are low, and they have loads of products to choose from. Chapter 7, step-by-step plan to retire in 20 years. Let's put it all together. Step 1, set your goal figure. How much you want per year in retirement. Multiply by 25. For example, if you want to earn 50,000 per year by using the 4% rule, you would need a retirement pot of £1.25 million. Step 2, choose your account. Open a stocks and shares ISA or a SIP. This way you are being tax efficient. All I would say is really focus on financial education and you will learn how to avoid paying high taxes. Legally, of course. Step 3, pick your funds. Go with low cost index funds. Automate monthly contributions. If you want to know what I've been investing into since 2019, type yes below. Step 4, track your progress, like use a spreadsheet or an app. Watch your income and portfolio grow. One of the many benefits of low cost index funds is that you only check your investments maybe once or twice a year, which means zero stress. Step 5, stay consistent. Ignore the noise. Don't try to time the market. Just keep going. This is how thousands are retiring in their 40s and 50s with peace of mind, financial security and total freedom. This is a simple way to retire in just 20 years. Let me go back to step 1 to find out how much you would need to invest each month to end up with 1.25 million after just 20 years. Putting the figures into a compound interest calculator, you would need to invest £1,666 each month. So you could do this in your ISA or your SIP. Not easy, but definitely worth it. And you might need less than 50,000 per year to retire comfortably. We're all different as investors, as individuals. The info in this video is just to give you a simple plan. If this is all going over your head a bit, you can join my free investing community on School. See below for the link. Summary. You don't need to be rich, you don't need to be lucky. You just need a plan and the courage to stick with it. I've spent 24 years in the market. I've made mistakes, learned hard lessons, and I want to help you avoid them. This channel is here to help you build wealth long term, the smart way, without burnout, without making the same painful mistakes that I've made over the years. What I really want to do with my channel is to drive home the importance of investing. So I'll leave you with this. Over the last 25 years, I've met hundreds of people full of regrets, contractors in the late 50s, early 60s, who've earned a fortune working overseas, for example. Now, I remember working in Oman back in 2020. A colleague who was 60 years old at the time told me he could have easily saved £1,000 per month between 40 and 60, but never did. If he'd invested that £1,000 every month in the S&P 500, averaging just 10% annually, in line with historical averages, he would have over £750,000 today. That's financial freedom for most people. Now, I talk about this type of situation a lot on this channel because I don't want it happening to you. Now, if you got some value from this video, I'm going to ask a little favour. Obviously, a like or a comment would go a long way, but what would really help is if you could send this video to someone you know, someone who would benefit from this type of info, maybe someone who's just started investing. Anyway, thanks for watching.